Angry guy here, and women have reached the point of no return. Women have reached the point of no return. It's truly it's truly magnificent what has happened. But let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. So guys, what happened here now, for those of you that don't already know, pretty much all the big tech platforms have now cut off his income. He's been completely demonetized on YouTube. He has been demonetized on other platforms. The only platform that has not cut him off is Rumble. The BBC has pulled all of his interviews. Mainstream media is completely wiping out his identity like he never existed. His management agency has dropped him. And the MPs in British Parliament reached out to all the big tech platforms asking that he be censored, that he be demonetized, specifically, that he not be allowed to make any money. They went as far as then reaching out to Rumble and demanding that Rumble stop allowing him to make money on the platform as well, which they refused. Let's make this very, very clear right now. No one has publicly come forward and presented themselves. No one has gone to any authorities. No one has presented any actual evidence outside of stuff that is circulating around on the web. This is completely unheard of. Forget about actually being charged with something. There's literally nothing. Everyone's anonymous. We don't know who these people are, and there's no way of validating anything, even though you have feminists saying that these people are credible. They don't know who these people are. It's impossible to say that someone is credible for something like this when you don't know who they are, so you cannot even validate their claims. I'm going to tell you something, guys. Women have reached the point of no return. They don't even realize it yet. And the argument that they make whenever someone comes out and they speak and they say, you know what? We can't take it anymore. They immediately go, oh, I guess you don't have a mother. Is this how would you speak to your mother? Is this how you treat to your mother? You boys definitely don't love your mother. Or you don't like, well, you clearly don't like women. I had a guy in my comments earlier, and he basically said that get a boyfriend because clearly you don't like girls. Clearly you don't like women. Because you cannot, under any circumstance, criticize or dissent from the narrative. We are living in complete jungle justice right now. Okay? Banana Republic style. Where anything said on social media immediately discredits you. Guys, I want you to think about what's happening with Rick and Morty right now. How they messed up Morty, and the actors on that show did not defend the creator. All right? Justin Roiland has been cleared of everything. 100% cleared. Did he get his job back on Rick and Morty? Nope. He lost his job on Rick and Morty. There was a show he created on Hulu. He lost his job on that show too. So now he's losing all of that money. Every bit of it. And we are the ones who are going to suffer. You are guilty, period. Look at Johnny Depp. Look what happened to poor old Johnny. Amber should be in jail. This is the point we've reached. And the moment you criticize, the moment you say no, you have the mob coming for you to shut you down. Even saying that you should be thrown in jail. I have people saying I should be thrown in jail just for the things I am saying, just for speaking out on these issues and talking about what's happening to men in society. All right. Just for shining a light on it. I have women who say that I should be thrown in jail. You know who said this? Andrew said this before they threw him in jail. He said, first they try to silence you. When that doesn't work, they throw you in jail. And then when that doesn't work, they delete you. Then they delete you. I was watching a podcast. I caught a bit of it from Jamie Kennedy. And some of you know Jamie Kennedy from the Jamie Kennedy Experiment. He used to have that show on the WB. I think it was the WB before it became the CW. Man, there's been a lot of changes recently or over the years, but that's not the point. But he has a podcast on YouTube now, and he had this woman on there, conservative woman, if such a thing even exists, really. Yes, that was a jab. And he basically said that everyone, all of us in the red pill community, or anyone that has, a conservative view or an alternative view, is eventually going to be on Rumble. He said, we're all going to be on Rumble eventually. And the person he was interviewing, that he was talking to, she basically goes, no, I don't want to. I want to be on YouTube. I want to stay on YouTube. And it's like, you said it. No, we're all going to be on Rumble eventually. And that's really where it's going at this point. We're all going to be on Rumble eventually. We're all on borrowed time on this platform. We absolutely are. I'm looking at Russell. I want you to look at Russell, how he shows you his hands. I just noticed it. All right. He shows you his hands to show you that he is innocent. All right. That's what an innocent person would do. They'll show you the palm of their hands. He's showing you the palm of his hands. I want you to look at his eyes. Look at his face. On one hand, he's furious. On the other hand, he's hurt. And it's just, I mean, guys, within no time at all, everything has been snatched away from him, and they're working to shut him down. Guys, they will even take away your email account. I never knew this. They'll take your Gmail account away. Because, guys, when they shut you down, on YouTube, they don't just take away your YouTube. Oh, no, no, no. They take away your YouTube. They take away your Gmail. Yeah, I never knew that they could take away your Gmail account. They take away your Gmail. You lose access to all Google products and services. So you're basically banned from the Android platform. Because if you're not allowed to ever have another Gmail account, then how are you supposed to use Android? It's essentially like banning you from the internet. It's insane. It's insane. Guys, you know where things are headed? I thought about this Orwellian madness because there were leaks, and you might think this is irrelevant, but it's not irrelevant. There were leaks for the new Xbox console recently, right? A ton of leaks from Microsoft talking about the future of Xbox and video games. And you're gonna say, Angry, why are you talking about that right now when we're on the subject of something so serious? Because it's related. It's related, guys. It's 100% related. But you have to be able to use your head to see that it's related. You have to be a critical thinker to see that it's related. Because they said it. They said, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Y'all remember that? You will own nothing and you will be happy. And now I truly know what that means. I get it now. I really, really get it. What they're really saying is that they're going to take everything away from you. They're going to take it all away from you. You're not going to have anything. Everything is going to go digital and everything's going to require a subscription. It's all going to require a subscription. It's madness. It is absolute madness what we're seeing in Western society right now, and it's not going to get any better. How does this apply to Xbox? It's quite simple. You see, Microsoft revealed that this is it. The next console that they're going to put out, right? And the next console isn't coming out in 2028, evidently. It's coming out very soon. Okay? They're going to drop the disk drive. So it's going to be a 2 terabyte system. So yay, we have a bit more space, but it's still going to limit the number of games you can have because a lot of games today are 200 megabytes. That's like enough space for maybe 20 or 30 games if you're lucky, maybe less, depending on the games that you're purchasing. You know, Grand Theft Auto 6 might be a terabyte in and of itself, like half a terabyte or a terabyte in and of itself. We don't know. But what this is basically doing is that we're moving into an era now where you no longer own your products. So you purchase a game digitally, and by the way, that's going to go away because they're going to start changing it so that you no longer actually own the game. You get a license, and they'll license it to you for 10 years, and then that's going to go down to maybe 4 or 5 years, 8 years, 6 years, 5 years, 3 years, heck, maybe even 1 year. And they'll have different models. Oh, we'll give you a license to this game for a year, or we'll give you a license to the game for 5 years. See how great that is? So now you can pay $69.99 for a license for the next 5 years, when before you'd pay that to actually own the game itself outright. And here's another crazy thing. What they'll do, because guys, now let's just hear me out, because you're going to see how this is all interrelated, is that they can always take it away from you. That's what happens on Amazon. If you have a Kindle, you purchase a book, and suddenly the book is Amazon no longer wants that book out there. Something happens with the publishing rights. They take it right back from your device. They snatch it off your device and refund the funds to you. They give you a refund, and the book is gone. They can now digitally burn books, and you no longer have access. So you own nothing. You own nothing. And because of your game, because all of your games are purchased digitally, here's what they can also do. Let's say you are banned on different platforms. Let's say, guys, look at what's happened here. Well, they can go to these companies and they can say, well, we don't want them there. We don't want them doing business with you. We don't want them doing business with you either. This person is alleged to have done this and this and this. And so they're guilty. And, Microsoft will say, yep, yeah, we don't want to associate ourselves with these people. So immediately, here's what Microsoft does. Microsoft goes, yep, sorry, guys. Sorry, guy. You can't have access anymore. So we're closing your account. You're banned from the service, and all your games have been confiscated. They issue you a refund, if even that, and you're gone. You've lost access to your games. You can no longer play games. You can't play the games you've already downloaded, and they've cut you off from entertainment. You think this is a game? This is the Orwellian reality that we are in now. People don't realize it. When Rome was falling, okay? When Rome was falling, men refused to marry. And I forget if it was Julius or Augustus Caesar. He said that the men who would not marry were worse than all of the criminals in all of Rome. And he listed them off one by one. Worse than all the thieves, worse than all the liars, okay? Worse than all the guys that they were the worst of the worst. The worst. He said they were worse than they were the worst worse than all the worse than all the criminals in all of Rome. And during the winter, and they were banned from going to any entertainment. They were banned from going to the Colosseum. Unmarried men were banned from going to the Colosseum, any public shows. So they could basically, they were banned from going. They couldn't go watch wrestling. They couldn't go to the movies. Okay. They were banned from everything. Every form of entertainment unmarried men were banned from. And during the winter time, they made these men run in the street like a chain gang. And the men still refused to marry. Fast forward like 100 years, Rome no longer had a military. They were being completely taken care of by mercenaries. And they ran out of money because men weren't working anymore. Men had dropped out of society. The mercenaries realized that the emperor had no clothes because he was trying to pay them in land. And the mercenaries pillaged the entire empire. The Roman Empire fell. And when the Roman Empire fell, all of Europe fell. We were plunged into the Dark Ages. And we had 1,000 years of darkness where math and science were pretty much lost until it was rediscovered by monks in a monastery, evidently. This is the insanity of our history. And you know how we got there? What the Roman Empire was extremely prosperous in the beginning. Men had complete control over their wives, complete say so over both living and above. They had complete control, and then the empire became so prosperous that they decided to introduce no fault divorce, and then divorces skyrocketed rapidly. Women began divorcing their husbands. They began getting into relationships with gladiators. They began spending their money, spending the money of their husbands to free these gladiators. They began deleting their husbands as well, using said gladiators. This is the insanity. And all of that led up to men withdrawing completely from society, going Mouse Utopia style, beautiful ones. And that ultimately led to the fall of Rome within a very short period of time. And I want you all to understand that out of that, the Dark Ages, we got the bubonic plague. Those were some very dark times. Okay? Like, that could have been really close to the end for us. I mean, the Indians were over here in Western society, over here where we call where we call the US today, but they weren't going to do anything. To be very honest with you, if the Indians had been left alone, they'd probably still be doing the same things today that they were doing back then. The Incas would still be chilling, the Mayans would still be chilling. They wouldn't. Yeah, they had some advancements, but we would not have the technology and the developments that we have today. All right, it's madness. It is absolute madness. I cannot tolerate it anymore. I'm just telling you, I can't tolerate it anymore. What we're looking at is the absolute. We're past the point of end. We're past the point of the end. As I said, we're at the place where they will take everything away from you. Everything. No video games for you. All right. Sony will, and guys, think about this. Now everything's moving over to this thing called Game Pass. And I thought Game Pass was a great idea, but in reality, what Game Pass is, it's a move towards a future, like I said, where you own nothing at all. You no longer purchase your games. You no longer physically own your games, all right? You don't even have the ability to purchase them, because that's what's going to end up happening. Eventually, many games won't even have the ability to buy them. You won't be able to buy the next Skyrim 6. You may not be able to buy Skyrim. You may not have the ability to buy Skyrim. It's very, very possible. It's very, very possible. You may not have the ability to buy Skyrim. What we may be looking at is, oh, you want to play Skyrim? You can play Skyrim on your PC. You can play Skyrim on the PC as long as you have Game Pass. You can play Skyrim on your Xbox as long as you have Game Pass. And if you've been a naughty boy, we'll turn your service off so you won't be able to play that anymore. Because Microsoft actually just released an updated set of guidelines that are extraordinarily Orwellian. And if you don't comply with them on like standards of behavior, they'll you're done. They'll ban you from their service. And like I said, when they ban you from that, they also ban you from Game Pass. No Game Pass for you. No video games for you. And it won't just be that. You'll lose access to that. You'll lose access to Crunchyroll. That's owned by Sony now. Okay? So there will be no Xbox for you, no PlayStation for you, because PlayStation has their own version of Game Pass. Was it PlayStation Plus, which they just jacked the prices up for. But this is the end, because there's not going to be any more digital media. You know, Nintendo is probably going to go for one more generation, and then that's going to be the end for them as well. And you will owe nothing. You will owe nothing. Okay? So they'll take away your entertainment as well. And as you guys can see, this whole return to the office thing is complete and utter nonsense. The future is remote work. It's the absolute future. Don't let anyone fool you. Don't let anyone lie to you. The future is remote work. People aren't. The events of 2020 accelerated things. People aren't going back to the office. They won't. They would rather quit their jobs and go and do something else before going back to the office. It's not happening. They're not going back to the office. That's really where things are at this moment. I'm telling you guys. Me personally, I've known. I kept on trying to play it off. Because, guys, this isn't my first rodeo. A lot of you don't know this. Once you've been banned, once you've lost a YouTube channel, you can never have another YouTube channel ever again. Once YouTube takes away your channel, once YouTube once you lose your YouTube channel, you've had a YouTube channel banned, you can never have another YouTube channel again. And that is now a gateway to them literally banning you from every Google service. That's what happened to Andrew. He mentioned like even his Gmail was taken away. You're gone on they take your Instagram away, they deplatform you. The search engine, they change up the search engine algorithm so your name stops showing up in it, or they make sure that nothing positive shows up about you. They change the YouTube algorithm, and they're not even trying to hide it anymore, so that if someone searches for you, the findings, it will suppress findings, and it'll change the kinds of information, the kinds of videos that show up about you, and you won't be recommended to people who are looking for content about you. They will do everything in of their power to silence you and to delete you from existence and to make your life as miserable as possible. Like I said, no games for you. No games for you. All right? They'll take everything away. None of your devices will work. They'll take away your Amazon account. They'll take away everything. So none of your smart devices work. No video games, no smart devices. Because if you don't have, how are you going to use your phone? How are you going to use your smartphone without a Gmail account? You only have two choices. Let's be very, very clear. You only have two choices, because if you're banned, if they ban you from their service, if Google decides that no, you're banned, no more, we don't want you using Gmail, they ban you, then how are you supposed to use Android devices? You're effectively banned from using Android. And if they find out that you have another account, they'll just close it. So now you are completely banned from the entirety of the Android platform. And when it comes to guys, when it comes to Google, we use almost all of us use almost some Google service in our lives, so including Google itself. If we're not using google.com to do searches, right? We're using Google Maps or Google Drive or the Play Store or something. It's all intertwined. It's all intertwined. And of course, it doesn't just end there, because then no bank wants to have anything to do with you. I know a young lady, her name is Brittany. I won't say her last name. And what they did was, because of who her husband was, his face, she cannot even post pictures that show his face on Instagram. She has an Insta. Can't have pictures of him on Insta that show his face. He's been debanked numerous times. So every time he opens a bank account, it's closed down. His house was raided. All of their electronic devices were confiscated. They were dragged down to a police station where then they were interrogated. And some of you may know who I'm talking about. And she was slandered in the media. I mean, guys, come on. Come on. And I've known forever. I've known forever that this isn't gonna last forever. My time on YouTube, it's not gonna last. Some of y'all are like, well, what about track phone? You can always use a track phone, bro. Really? Track phone? Come on. All right. Y'all are going back to 1990, was it 97, 98? Y'all are really going back to the 90s with the flip phones? Like, that's how bad it is. Y'all like, well, you can always go and get a burner phone. There's always the burners. There's always an old flip phone burner. You always have that. Call. You've got call and text, man. It's not ideal, but you still have some options. Like, bro, guys, just imagine this. They take away your email accounts, so y'all can't even use email anymore. It's insane. It's insanity. We definitely need alternatives. I've realized it now. I've realized that it's going to be imperative, just like how in China they have different versions of Android that are not tied to the Google ecosystem. And then they have different services included on there, different map services and so forth. They're going to have to be some alternatives, something, because if you're banned, you lose everything. They take everything away from you. They silence you. They take your entire life away. They take your entire life away. And the crazy thing is, like I said, every time a guy tries to speak out, every time you raise your voice, they try to silence you. And the women, I'm not saying it's all, but in Western society, it's absolutely most of them. Because women live in a whole different reality than we do, because they will always have a safety net. And you have to understand, these same women that call themselves conservatives, they are feminists. They are 100% feminist. When you look at surveys and it asks, is the job of feminism done? And you look at the responses from liberal women And from conservative women, you will find that a large portion of conservative women still say that the job of feminism is not done. What does that actually tell you? How conservative are they really? Wolves in sheep's clothing. We have to have alternatives. We have to have alternatives. Thank God we have Rumble, and it's like, none of us want to actually go to Rumble, but thank God we have Rumble. That's it. Thank God we have Rumble, and even, I want to say thank God we have, X, but really, with this whole subscription model, I don't know what Elon is doing with X right now. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. X is just like it's strange. Like, I don't know what's going on with X, but thank God we at least have Rumble, and they're willing to stand up and to say no, we will not comply, because most people lack bravery today. Most companies, just like most human beings, but it's like most women are just trying to get their bag right now. And what's so frightening about all of this that's happened with Russell is the fact that these people may very well disappear. If they get enough support, that they may start coming out and try to have him thrown in jail. But it's highly possible that these people will never show up. We'll never know who any of these people are. And the crazy thing is that after the smoke clears and they scurry off back into the darkness from whence they came, that's if they actually exist, because these journalists could literally be making these people up. They could be making up all of these people. They could hire actors, but we don't know who they are. So these journalists could completely fabricate this information. They disappear. And what happens to Russell? Oh, does YouTube reinstate him? Nope. Does his management agent pick him back up? Nope. Does the BBC restore the episodes that were deleted? Nope. Can he work in Hollywood ever again? Nope. His reputation is forever tarnished, and that's it. But that's what you get. And to some degree, he had to have known in his belly that they were eventually going to come for him, because you cannot gain that amount of influence and not expect that they're going to come for you. Because once you start to gain the kind of influence that would allow you to sway an election, oh, they're coming for you. They're coming for you. So right now they're trying to silence him. He's heading over to Rumble. And if that doesn't work, the next step is to throw him in jail. And then, of course, if that doesn't work, then the final step will be to delete him. And that's how it is. That's just how it is. If you notice what's happening with Donald right now, first they've tried to silence him. They're still trying to silence him. Now he's on trial. There's like four trials going all at the same time. I've never seen that happen to anyone before. Right? So first they tried to silence him. Now they're trying to throw him in jail. And if that doesn't work, then the final step is deletion. Deletion. That's how it is. It is a continuous decline, and guys, I already know. I'm gonna start. Building out my Rumble, building out my email list so that you guys can sign up to my email list, so and get in touch with you, because I already know that that I know that these are the end days, and if I can stick around for a few more years, hey, cool. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm tired. I really don't even want. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't. I just. I don't, because they make it so hard and so frustrating that you're constantly picking and choosing your words, constantly picking and choosing your words, constantly avoiding saying certain things, constantly watching out. Are they going to try to censor me? Are they going to try to take away everything I've worked for and I've built? Are they going to come up with some nonsense to use against me? And you're constantly watching out for this, constantly watching out, and they'll come up with any reason. They'll come with lies, right? For example, there's no inappropriate language used in the entire video, but they'll say, "Oh well, there was something there. There was a word in the title that we didn't like, and it didn't comply with our guidelines." What are you talking about? Or what they'll do is, if they can't do that, they'll just delete the entire channel outright, and then basically say that they have nothing else to say to you. They can literally get rid of you if they just don't like you. They can say that we just don't want you here anymore. You don't actually have to violate anything to be removed entirely from the platform. You do not have to violate anything. They can literally say, we no longer want to do business with you. We're taking down your channel, and if we take down your channel, you can never have one. So that's an effective ban from their platform entirely, and a potential ban from all of their services. Imagine you're banned from Android. This is where it's, guys, this is where it's headed. The next step is to ensure that your internet connection gets pulled. So, for example, whatever internet provider you have, oh, no internet for you. No internet for you. Because they want to silence you digitally. They want to silence you. And not only do they want to silence you, but they also want to restrict your movements. Because guess what? We use Uber to travel. All right. We use Uber to get around. These are services that have replaced, the standard car service. Back in the day, you can call up a car service and have them come and pick you up and take you somewhere. These services, Uber, Lyft, and these other ride shares, they've mostly replaced them. So you no longer have them. They're no longer as available as they once were. And if they are, they often cost more. But they can just take your access away just like that. Before, that could not happen. You weren't handing over personal information when you called for a taxi. And all of these things, all of these taxi services in the coming years are just going to get fewer and fewer and fewer. So you won't even be able just to travel is going to become a nightmare. And with the advent of self-driving cars, don't forget that they already passed the bill. I don't know how this thing passed in the Senate, but they literally passed a bill where now the next generation of cars, there won't be any such there will no longer be anything such as running away from, like, the cops want to pull you over. You won't be able to keep going. They will have a way of stopping your car and having it pull over to the side of the road. It's a frightening dystopia that we now live in. Every car going forward will have to be equipped with technology. Every new car will have to be equipped with technology. This is a bill that already passed in the United States, and it's also passed in Europe, I believe, some European countries. Every car, no, I may have been by the EU. Every car in the United States now will have to have a device in it that checks to see if you are impaired or not. Impaired is the key word. So it's not just if you've consumed alcohol that could create an impairment. Oh, it could be any form of impairment, and your car won't start. But even if your car does start, if you are driving, right, and a police officer pulls up behind you, they can have your car pull over at the side of the road, shut it off, and then get out. It's a frightening dystopia. Frightening dystopia. And that's what these cars are. That's what's really happening now, because they'll be able to stop you anywhere. Anywhere. There's no running, you have nowhere to run. Nowhere to run. Because they can get you anywhere. They can get you anywhere. What are you going to do? Buy an old car? Come on. Come on. Hmm. This is one of the reasons why, guys, you need to have a second passport, or at the very least, a second residency somewhere else. Be a resident in another country. You need to be a resident in another country. Be smart. Don't be a fool. People thought that Elon was going to be this great savior on X. They're doing shadow bannings on X still. Freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. Come on. Because at the end of the day, Elon is desperate for that ad money. Desperate for that ad money. I already know I'm headed to Rumble. And that's the best case scenario. Because having to rebuild on Rumble is just like, oh my gosh. Although I can only hope that I'll have a better experience there. I don't know if I will, but I can only hope that I would have a better experience there, because the experience on YouTube is just miserable. Absolutely miserable. And while YouTube, they have a lot of tools and all kinds of nice stuff that they're introducing in the background that won't be on Rumble, the absolute nonsense that we put up with on YouTube is just profound. Profound. Dual citizenship and remote work absolutely equals freedom. Absolutely. Every single person should have some, first off, never depend on just one source of income. This is a profound thing, guys. I don't care if you're making just a few dollars from it. You should always have a second source of income. All right? Not just one, but multiple streams. Several different streams. All right? It's best to have something like 7 different streams of income. What do I mean? For example, okay, let's say you have money invested in one place, right? So you know that you're getting some kickback from that. You're getting something from that. You need to have you have real estate, right? So that's one source of income. You have property that you're renting out. That's one source of income. You have products that you sell, let's say on Amazon, ebooks you sell on Amazon, right? And you make a couple $100 a month from that. That's another source of income. Again, I'm just giving you examples. You need to have multiple sources of income, and you also need to have sources of passive income. So even if you are not doing anything, you are still making money while you sleep. But every single person must have multiple streams of income. Never ever depend on just one stream. That's what happens to a lot of these people on YouTube. You go on YouTube, you make your money on YouTube, they take it away, and you're done. You can't pay your bills, and what are you going to go back to? Because you spent so many years on YouTube that now trying to go back into the real world is near impossible. I've been on YouTube almost 10 years. So going out there and trying to get a job today, even though I have two masters and a bachelor's, a really highly accredited bachelor's, there's a 10-year more or less employment gap in my resume. What, to go and compete out there for these, for these luxurious 9-to-5 jobs that I've mentioned that are miserable? I said these luxurious 9-to-5 jobs were going to be going away. Also, the future is remote work. So you need to be out there working on your skill sets right now, building skills, learning new skills, and learning how to apply them. The days of paper and pen are coming to an end. Y'all need to wake up and realize that. And the craziest thing is that a lot of women don't realize that they've reached a point of no return, because they're saying, don't blame me for anything that's happening. This is, and if you do blame me, then clearly you have issues with your mommy, or you don't love your mommy, or you're a misogynist, or you don't like all women, or they try to take another angle, and they'll say, you've clearly been hurt by someone, and I hope you meet someone who helps you to heal one day, because hurt people hurt people. And it's like, bro, are you crazy? Do you not see what's happening in society? Do you not see what's happening to men right now? And they're like, hurt people hurt people. Guys, they don't care at all. They don't care at all. And then the simps, they come along, and they're just like, yeah, we agree. These guys are just sad. Sad, 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 sad. All right? Society can go to Tartarus in a handbasket, and they would allow it. In fact, they would they're the ones pushing us in that direction. All right? Pushing us over that cliff. Things will never get better in Western society in terms of our life. In our lifetime, Western society, it's kaput. It's kaput. It's kaput. It's a kaput. It takes at least one generation that has been raised to be proud, and have morals, and sense of identity, and ownership and pride within one's nation. It takes at least one generation, to it takes at least one generation to do this. So you have to raise the generation. This generation has to get old enough to do this, to actually, have any say in anything. Guys, that's like 50 years, 50, 60, 70 years. That's it's so long. It's so long that it's pointless. It takes so long that it's pointless. And we are already in a dystopic reality. I mean, the people who thought about this, they would never have imagined the success that they would have achieved. And George Orwell, he warned us, even on his bed, even on his bed, before he retired, before he expired from this world. He warned us, and he was worried about the future. 1984, Animal Farm. All right. He was a very talented writer, but let's be very clear, he was warning us about the future, and he found entertaining ways of warning us to engage us. But have no doubt that these were warnings. This is exactly what he warned us about. Being able to change information, remove books, destroy books and evidence, change words, everything. We're now there. Like oh, boof, it never happened. This guy's colleges are burning books. They're like, oh, we digitalized them. They're burning them, and they can change any. They can remove literature, text, whatever. They can say it never existed. Guys, you remember One Piece? A lot of y'all, you ever hear of One Piece? Some of y'all know about One Piece. It's the greatest anime that ever existed. After Dragon Ball Z, of course. Yeah, I really went there. But anyway, that's my Gen X showing. In One Piece, there's this thing called the Dark Century. What is the Dark Century? Basically, in One Piece, you have the world government, and the world government, they're a bunch of tyrants. And they've banned any research into the Dark Century, or the Void Century. They call it the Void Century. All right. And the Void Century is a period of time that's been deleted from history. No one actually knows what happened during the Void Century. And if you try to research it, they will delete you. And that's where we're headed right now. We're headed for an age of ignorance, where they delete all events that happen around this time. We rarely had this is it, guys. Like, they'll delete everything, all the craziest, everything that's happening right now, the oppression, anything that doesn't suit them. They will delete this, so future generations will never know about it. That's where we're going. One world government, man. The world government, where they control everything. Everything we see, everything we hear, everything. Hmm. The guys, the architects are right at work as well. Because think about this: we're moving towards an age where when you order your groceries, I mean, people still do go and buy their groceries, but we're increasingly moving towards an age where people don't physically go into a store to get their groceries. They have their groceries brought to them via platforms like Instacart. And eventually, there will be stores that operate entirely using this model where you purchase everything virtually and your food is brought to you. But when you are shut off, when you can no longer use an Android device, when you are shut off, then guess what? You're locked out of Android. You're locked out of iPhone, out of the Apple ecosystem. You can't use these apps anymore. So you can't even shop for food anymore. Or you're like, well, you could always go to the store. Well, here's the thing: they're now using things like palm scanners. So going forward in the future, we may end up in a future where, for example, you go into the store and everything is plastic and digital, so it's digital money, and they no longer accept physical money, and that's what's really going to happen. If we're heading towards a future where there's no physical money anymore, you go to a store and you want to make a purchase, and you are banned from even being able to shop at that store. They won't do business with you. So you can't. You go into the store. There are no cashiers. There are no cashiers. They can't help you even if they wanted you to buy food because it will not accept your payment method. And everyone who uses the store, for example, may have to have a registered Palm or whatever, an Iris, doesn't matter. Or even if you don't, they will find a way to reject your digital payment method. So you can't buy food or products. You can't use services. You can't buy food. You can't use transportation. You are completely debanked. Welcome to welcome to 1984. And you own absolutely nothing, and anything you do have can be taken away from you at any moment. Like I said, when they punish you, they're going to punish you good. No Xbox for you. No PlayStation for you. You've been a very naughty boy. You've been a very, very naughty boy. All right? PlayStation 5 is for children who obey. All right? PlayStation 5 is for children who obey. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Don't think just because God gave Adam and Eve a choice, you will still have one. To be very honest, today we have very few choices and we have the illusion of choice. When you go and you vote every 4 years, that's an illusion of choice. A two-party system? That doesn't make any sense. And then you're like, I'm hoping for change. Guys, these are the same people, different sides of the same coin. At the end of the day, no matter who wins, we all lose. Y'all have y'all forgotten that it was George W. Bush who literally put us, sent us to Afghanistan and Iraq and led to us spending like 20 years over there, and we achieved absolutely nothing other than allowing them to stuff as much money into the pockets of their financiers, because it's a revolving door. It just goes, it comes in and out, in and out. Nudie says that, and Nudie says that the Bible says you won't be able to buy or sell without the mark. It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. It's about control. It's about control and maintaining influence. And anyone who has too much influence, they have to be, you can't allow that. Can't allow that. So I'll be setting myself up for Rumble. God willing, I have enough time to make it there. Because you never really know. And it's like, I don't want to like cast anything down on myself, but I know. I've known for a long time. And anyone who doesn't know is fooling themselves that they are on borrowed time on this platform. Borrowed time. People need to wake up and realize that nothing lasts forever. But if you want to have some semblance of happiness and peace in your life, then you have to walk away from Western society and don't look back. You have to walk away. Walk away. Because we are living in Sodom right now. We are living in Sodom. And it is sickening. But the only power you have is to walk away from it. Say no to it. I will not participate. Someone and I didn't know this, but in 1984 they called deletion vaporizing. I did not even know that. Maybe I'll pick up a copy of 1984 and read through it. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And that's why I've said to you guys, you need to be invested in crypto. I'm working on getting my crypto academy back up for you guys. It's there, but I'm just working out some kinks. And then you guys will be able to go there and learn about crypto, learn about the best cryptos to invest in, learn how to understand the markets, learn how to create a decentralized crypto bank account so that you can travel remotely and safely and have your funds intact. Learn how to do banking learn how to do decentralized banking, because a lot of you don't know how to do that. So you will always have money everywhere and anywhere you go. And I have the Passport Bro package coming out, blueprint coming out, that's going to teach you how to do the whole Passport Bro thing safely, all the things that you need to know so that you can decentralize yourself, so that you can go over there and succeed and thrive, and including what to do and, getting in relationships with women overseas, how to screen them before you even get there, or what are the moment that you meet them, what to look for. For example, some of y'all think that you're going to go over there and become Passport Bros. You don't even know these women are waiting for you. Like this is the thing. Like, and this is something that I don't like to talk about these guys. The I'll call them the Miggly Puffs. You know, but they were right about this. One thing they don't tell you when it comes to Asian culture, these women, they're taught to smile. They are taught to smile, and you have to be very careful with that, because that smiling makes you believe that they are decent people and that they mean you well. They don't. They absolutely don't. The person that's grinning with you is often the person that has your least that means you the least well. And some of y'all don't even know this. For example, you go overseas and you meet a girl and you're talking to her and she asks you to put some money on her phone. She's like, "Oh, could you add some funds to my phone for me?" Right? And you're like, "Oh, this is nothing. Oh, it's only $5 or $10 or whatever." Or some of y'all will go even put $25. You don't even understand that this is a country where many of them don't even make $25 a week. And you just went and put $25 like it was nothing. What they were actually doing, as they were trying to figure out what kind of budget you have and how much money you have, so then they can determine how much they want to milk you for, how much they can milk you for, and extort you for. And they will come up with the most elaborate stories and get a series of actors and characters, including members of law enforcement and lawyers and a bunch of other people, to create a scenario in which either you pay them or someone or else. One of the most dangerous things that can happen, that can occur also, is if they know you're alone, which is what, like, and that's why you guys, you're gonna need the blueprint, because I'm a seasoned traveler and so many bad things have happened. I've had a lot of great experiences overseas. I've had more good experiences than bad experiences, but the bad ones have been lingering and have left scars. And that's the reason why you need to know what to do. For example, even going to the doctor over there. Guys, I was overseas. This dentist, like, I saw a dentist over there. She lied to me. I was sent by my primary dentist because I had a primary dentist overseas. I went to this other place that she sent me to just to do something, to like have something reviewed. And let's just say one thing led to another. I ended up with a huge infection, and it almost cost me my life. You need to know what you're doing overseas. All right. And for the most part, you'll be okay. But it's the there's it's that small group of people that are looking to prey upon you. And let me tell you something. Some of the nicest people do the most evil things when given the opportunity. And then when you catch them, they'll turn around and say that they do it because they're poor and they grew up in poverty and they were desperate. Never ever deal with desperate people, by the way, and never ever deal with people that are outwardly willing to do immoral things. You have to be very careful. And even then, people that seem to be honest, guys. If I tell you about some of the things that have happened to me, like signing contracts that were fake and like literally fabricated, because they know you're from overseas, so the kind of banana republic things that they do in these countries could never happen in America because they would be in jail. But you don't know these things, right? So you have to know what to look for, and you have to know how to evaluate. You have to know the kinds of games they play, the strategies that they use to take advantage of you. You need to know these things. And once you have this knowledge, that's when you can navigate. That's when you can start doing these things and be safe, because they see you and they're like, "Oh, you're a sucker. You're a sucker." Okay? And you have to always remember that's not your country. For example, in Mexico, you can go and become a citizen in Mexico, get your citizenship. But if you ever get into an argument with a Mexican man and you do something, they will snatch that citizenship away from you in a heartbeat and send you back to the country you came from. And that's how it is in a lot of countries, because you are never truly one of them. Go to Japan, become a Japanese citizen, have Japanese citizenship, because you cannot have dual citizenship in Japan. But here's the thing: get to have Japanese citizenship, you will never be Japanese. They will never accept you as a Japanese person because you do not look like them. Even if you were born there, even if you have multiple, even if your family has been there for multiple generations, if you do not look like them, even if you speak the language perfectly, you were raised there, you were born there, you speak the language perfectly. If you do not look like them, you will never be one of them. This is just how it is. So know that, when you are traveling, you will always be a foreigner to these people. And they'll smile with you, but understand you will always be a foreigner to these people, and you will always be a guest in their country. And that's the key word. It's another man's country. It is not your country, and they make the rules there. Regardless of whether or not they're ethical, and regardless of whether or not they are legal, they make the rules. So you need to be aware. You need to be aware and use your head. And common sense, sadly, today is not something that we are taught. We critical thinking skills is not something that we are taught. And that's why you have to work hard to develop these things for yourself. You know, you have to learn how to be self-sufficient. Guys, modern women who basically they can't cook, they can't clean, they can't do anything for themselves, and they're always looking at the safety net of a man. That's running out. That's running out, all right? Because they feel like they have an endless supply of Sims, but these Sims can't be their come up. This is something that this a YouTuber said years ago. He said, these Sims, these guys, they can't be their come up. They don't have that kind of money. They don't have that kind of money for these women. A lot of these guys are at best plan D guys. Many of them are plan F guys. They're failures. All right. They can't hold a woman down. They can't even give her a roof over her head. They could barely afford to pay her cell phone bill. It's the truth. It's the honest to goodness truth. All right. Some of them are struggling to pay their monthly subscription on OnlyFools. Come on. And women don't realize that they've chased off their protectors and providers, so now they are completely at the mercy of the state. But that's just the way they like it. And when the state starts invading, and they're like, "Okay, where are the men? Where are the men?" There's no men. There are no men. The men aren't coming to rescue. They think that the soy guy. They think the soy guys are gonna come and save them. Nope, nope. Those guys are gonna bend over, spread them, and say, "You could take whatever you want, daddy." That's how it's gonna be. I'm infuriated. I'm miserable. I'm frustrated. I was already frustrated over what what I deal with on the platform, but then seeing what's happened to Russell, it's just another nail in the coffin. And it's and you say nail in the coffin, but it's been buried. It's been buried for years already. So what am I talking about? Oh boy. Women have reached the point of no return and they don't even realize it. And then, of course, there's going to be not all women. I mean, if I'm tired, like I said, I know I'm headed to Rumble, and hopefully, I'll have some success on the platform. I got to start building out my email list again so that, some, God forbid, well, we already know something will happen eventually, because like I said, like Jamie Kennedy said, we'll all eventually be on Rumble. So I'll have to start building out my email list, let you guys sign up so that I can email you directly whenever I put out new videos, and when the inevitable comes along and it's time for me to, completely make the move. And there's definitely going to have to be an alternative at some point to Android, some alternative that uses alternative services, because for things like location and so forth, because they shut you down. You're done. You're absolutely done. You have no access to any Google services. Now, the one good thing about Android is that Android is an open source application. It's an open source operating system that anyone can use. So someone else can take Android, any version of Android, and they can basically replace the Google services with their own services. And that at least provides some hope, because there are a ton of alternative stores out there, and because there are a ton of alternative stores out there, that gives us hope. All right. And that's really where things are going. Guys, what are your thoughts regarding all of this? All right. Women have reached the point of no return. All right. I want to hear your thoughts on this, guys. So let's talk about it in the comments. Go ahead and like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.